Okay, thank you. Hello, good evening. Mm, right. So, you're all welcome for the first session, performance management. So, when it comes to this subject that I want to tell you, very first thing is this is a subject little bit theoretical. But I don't want to make it more theoretical. So, that would be like when it comes to performance management, we normally say there are a lot of things to study, a lot of theories are there, but I will not be bringing a lot of theories, a lot of notes for you for your level. So what I want is paying close attention, because the thing is this subject I will be reminding you time to time. There are a few things that you want to remember. So because it's like there is a relationship with what we are talking today would be related with for the next day. So as there is this sort of a relationship, I would like if you can pay more attention and attend regularly. So that would be important for you. And all right. So let me start up with the performance management. So simply, if we say what is performance management? Okay, before that, I would like to introduce myself. So I am Darshini, senior lecturer, so attached to government university, University of Kelaniya, and here I'm teaching you as a visiting lecturer for this subject. So therefore, I know normally when it comes to this subject, so how the students are providing you answers, because it's quite like a lot of theories, but of course, I would not be bringing you a lot of theories when it comes to this with your level. So we'll move up with sorry, performance management. Today, actually, we got a very bad day that I'm a little bit sick as well. So, performance management, I'm repeating you, though there are a lot of theories for you to study, I will not be bringing all the theories for you. But it is better if you can regularly attend, as it is important for you to attend because there are relationship with. So probably you may have not heard this performance management word before. This subject you may have not learned. This subject is very much crucial in human resource management. So simply, we are looking at performance, right? But when it comes to this performance management, the performance that we are just merely talking about and the performance that we are expecting from an organization would be different, right? So I'll, first of all, for that, in bringing you that, let me show you a kind of a very interesting video, right? What is that? Let me show you a superstar song, right? You would be loving that video. Let me show you that video first for you. Then I will come into what is performance management. So normally I told you, sorry, when it comes to performance management, that we think it's about managing performance. It's about managing your skills, right? So actually, but it is not like that. There is a base for that. Let me bring you with this song, right? So let me share the sound for you. And okay, this one. So I'm switching off my video. So it takes carefully watch what is the incident that is happening in this video. Carefully watch what is the incident that is happening and see how the audience or the judge board is responding and see how the participant is performing. Then I will be coming to the session explanation. So I'm going to start with a song for you for the subject, okay?
हाय सर।
हाय
हाय, मेरा नाम है ताबिश। मैं 19 साल का हूँ और मैं दिल्ली एनसीआर से आया हूँ।
तैयार हो आप?
हाँ मैम।
ठीक है, चलिए।
मैं तन्नू समझावा कि ना तेरे बिना लगदा जी, तू की जाने प्यार मेरा, मैं करा इंतजार तेरा, तू दिल तू यो जान मेरी।
ताबिश, आपकी बहुत ही प्यारी मीठी आवाज है।
थैंक यू मैम।
कुछ बात है आप में ताबिश, बट फॉर दिस सीजन आई वुड से यू आर नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड। आपको और मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी ताबिश।
I agree entirely. मेहनत थोड़ी बाकी है basically आपकी. So sorry about that, Tabish.
जी सर।
Good luck, brother. Thank you. This way. Tabish, this way.
अरे
अरे वो क्या कर रहे हो? अरे ताबिश, वापस आओ।
ये क्या कर रहे थे आप? ये क्या हरकत ली आपने? क्या गाया अभी?
जाते जाते अपनी ये क्या गाया अभी? ये सुनाओ।
गाना जरा।
तो अभी तो परफेक्ट सुर में गाया।
ये कहाँ था ताबिश? ये क्या कर रहे हो आप? ये कहाँ था?
तेरे दिल ने चुन लिया ने, तेरे दिल तेरा।
Okay, you know
तू
what?
जो
Wait.
क्या
I
किया?
want to hear this.
ना उतरे था तुर पे मेरी आसा, जीना मेरा है।
क्या हो गया भाई?
गुण है तेरा कि मैं करा तू कर एतबार मेरा,
This has never happened.
मैं करा इंतजार तू दिल तू यो जान मेरी।
बट ये क्यों किया तुमने? ये अंदाज में गाना और वो अंदाज का गाना वाज लाइक
जमीन आसमान का फर्क।
हाँ, क्यों? आई मीन क्या सोच रहे थे उस वक्त?
सर मैंने सोचा था कि ये गाना सिंपल है तो उसको सिंपल ही
क्या
रखूं।
बात
नहीं,
है।
बहुत
बट
सही,
तुम्हारे
बहुत
पास
सही,
जो
लेकिन-
कारीगरी है वो ये है और ये दिखाओ। चलो गाओ।
गाओ, फिर से गाओ ये वाली लाइन।
जीना मेरा है,
वाह,
आहा,
गुण है तेरा कि मैं करा
क्या बात है।
कर एतबार मेरा, मैं करा इंतजार तेरा, तू दिल तू यो जान मेरी, मैं तनु समझावा की
oh my god,
ना तेरे बिन लगेगा जी।
आए यार, मेरा दिल लगा हुआ था कि तेरे जैसा प्यारा कलाकार कहीं क्यों गड़बड़ कर रहा है।
गोल्डन टिकट आपका।
ताबिश आइडल के इतिहास के पहले खिलाड़ी बने जिन्होंने बोल्ड आउट होने के बाद भी मौके पर चौका लगाया।
For more updates, subscribe to our channel, click the show links and enjoy watching the videos.
So now I'm struggling with this one. Okay, right, fine. So now what I wanted to show you. Now in this video, you clearly saw a performance, right? So we are talking about performance here. So you saw a performance there, and once he was performing at the very first time, it was like that it's a superb performance, right? But the audience was not satisfied. So what they did, again tested, right? Once the real skill is heard, they again tested and made him to go into the golden ticket, right? So what has happened? Appreciation and recognizing the skills and giving him the reward what he is really what he's really deserved. You have to bear with me today a little bit suffering with cough. So let me tell you this thing. Performance management in an organization is also very similar. We think when it comes to performance management, it's about just merely managing the performance of the people, right? So what is the performance that we are talking about? So simply, it can be a high performance, it can be a low performance. How we measure that? So all these things we are learning here. Now look at this video. He's doing a kind of a performance. How if you think that judge board is the management of the company, you could see initially they were not happy. So very similarly, we are talking about when we are into performing, it should not show only our skills. The skills that we have should satisfy the management and the customers, simply stakeholders of the company, right? If the stakeholders, what are the stakeholders? Stakeholders can count the people who has an interest over the organization. Organization again, that we call as stakeholders, right? So every party should be satisfied from our performance. If I am only satisfied from my performance, now when he was singing that song at the very first time, it was like he was satisfied about his performance. But when the others are not satisfied, you cannot survive in the organization. So that's why then the next stage of that video, you could see they recognize the skills very correctly and they recognize where he needs to be improved. And they provide the direction, they provide the opportunity to improve, and ultimately they gave the right reward. So that's what we are doing in a company as well. Once we do a performance evaluation, I will come to this performance evaluation, performance management, what's the difference, right? It's like this. Performance evaluation is the base of performance management. What do you mean by performance evaluation? Means Normally, annually, we check the performance of the people. So that's for an example. Think about, I'm talking about money, right? So when it comes to money, now actually, as I have a cough, I have to take some little candies that I'm taking. Right? Because I have this cough, otherwise it continuously comes. Very bad day we started the first session. Right, so anyway, it's like this. Like little sugar thing that I eat and during the session, right? Performance, think about money. You should have money to manage the money. Sali manage karan. You need to have money in your hand to manage the money. If you don't have money, there's nothing to manage. So very similarly, we should recognize what are the skills, what are the possibilities that they can perform when it comes to these employees. Right? We have to recognize simply what are the skill set that they have and whether they can really perform, whether they can really satisfy the organizational stakeholders, company people, customers, and the suppliers, and the public, whether they can satisfy. If not, the organizations really need to take a decision towards the employee. Okay. Let me bring the definition of performance management. So as some of the students have not logged in, I'm introducing myself again. I'm the Darshini, senior lecturer, attaching to the lpec campus as a visiting lecturer and joining with a government university. Okay. So what we are going to learn today is, you will be learning what is performance management and what are the importance, what are the benefits, and simply what we are talking under performance management, context of performance management, and identify your role and responsibilities related to performance management. So simply, we will learn all these things. So what this picture says, you can see a goldfish is trying to jump into a bigger vessel. So, you know, the goldfish, if you do have fish tanks at home, you know, goldfish is the most delicate fish, like a baby. Babek wage balagatte nattang goldfish, what happens? It dies. It dies. So if the water changes, if the water heat changes, if anything happens, they get skin rashes, they get a lot of things, and they quickly die. Goldfish. We see the employees, the employees that we have, just like this goldfish, right? They are very delicate. We have to take actions toward these goldfish, the employees, thinking they as goldfish, right? We have to think, if we do not pay our close attention to these employees, they will leave the company or they will not perform as how we want, right? Performance management is always trying you to take into a bigger place. Bigger place means what? Where you develop your skills, where you develop your knowledge, education, and where you are free, where you are comfortable to work with, and a larger environment through trainings and development, or maybe rewarding. Think about, you've been working as an executive, right? Now once we do the performance evaluations, once I evaluate you annually, maybe biannually, weekly, it depends as per the organizations. Normally we do annually or biannually. Performance evaluation එකක් ගන්න. So then we see, okay, this person has these skills. He has worked like this. These are the team skills. These are the customer service skills. So likewise, the company recognized. So then we put him into a bigger place, maybe as a marketing director, manager. maybe as a senior marketing executive. It is the reward that the person would be getting, right? If we see this person is never going to be okay, අවුරුද්දෙන් අවුරුද්ද හැමදාම performance evaluation ගත්තත් හැමදාම එක තැන නම් what we have to think is whether we really gonna keep this person. There is one thing. If you are looking for a new job these days, by having a job right now in your hand, be very, very mindful, because all the organizations are now looking into the performance of the employee. So what they do, they call the previous organizations and they ask about your performance, right? Because they want to know how you have performed. Nobody wants an unworking employee. මට පිස්සුවක් නැහැ වැඩ කරන්න නැති එක්කෙනෙක් වරගෙන නිකම් පඩි දෙන්න. කොහෙන් හරි අයින් කරපු එක්කෙනෙක් අරගෙන මට නිකම් පඩි දෙන්න I don't want. So these days, you know, most of the people are leaving the country, right? Why? Because for the performance, they say for the performance that we give, we are not benefited. So that's a problem. So we have to look into what's performance there. So the employers, the new employers, definitely these days looking into the employees, how they have performed previously. Like this, අනිවාර්යෙන්ම කලින් organizations වලට call කරලා අහනවා how he has worked. If your reference list, you know, normally you're sending a CV, right? So when it comes to the CV, if in your reference list, ගමේ හාමුදුරුවෝයි එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔයාව කොහොමද කවදාවත් දන්නේ නැතු lecturer කෙනෙක්. Now think about you. I never know you. Next day you call me and ask whether I can have your name for my as my non-related referee. Most of the students are asking, even sometimes undergraduates, and sometimes undergraduates are fine. Anyway, I know them. Once you are with me, I will get to know you. Then that's fine. But sometimes relatives are asking whether I can put your name. So I say, okay, yeah, that's okay, that's fine. Otherwise, they will think that I don't want to that I don't want to give my name. So I say, that's okay, that's fine. But the problem is when the companies are calling me and asking how the person has worked and all, I even cannot remember the name of the people, right? I'm asking who, which one, where she lives, so everything. So then they get to know I don't know anything about this person. So whenever you use your own CV, make sure the CV's non-related referees, why they are asking to call back and check back your performance, right? University lecturer is fine. If now you people will be fine in future. Why? Because you are learning under me. And still, if I do not know you, there are some students who are asking questions and sending messages, right? So likewise, so once you keep the relationship, then I know, okay, this one is like this. Then I can say, yes, she was a very active student in the campus. Otherwise, how can I say? So it's like this, right? So it was an additional information that I wanted to give you, because most of the time, the students, this private campus students, they are trying to change their organizations, but they are really in a risk if they have not performed well with the previous institute, right? So you make sure that you perform well. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of performance? As I told you, this is a kind of a subject, not like a subject which is very interesting. Now, you know, when it comes to marketing management, like subjects, they are really interesting, right? Showing you always videos, showing you a lot of advertisements, so that would be more fun. But this is not a fun subject at all, right? But the thing is, one of the most important subjects, because every organization will evaluate you. So whether you will be a manager or whether you will be an evaluator or evaluatee, right? Whomever, you will have to know this. What is happening in performance management? What they are looking at? How should I perform? Once you learn about these facts, it is very easy for you to create your behavior, right? Create your behavior means sometimes we normally do what we like. We are normally not doing what we like to do. අපි කරන්නේ හැම වෙලේම අපිට කරන්න කැමති දේවල්ද? නෑනේ නේ. කරන්න සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙන දේවල්. Now logging into this lecture. Do you like to log into this lecture in this night? The truth. If I ask you the truth, no, it's not. Sorry. Though you do not like it, you have to do it. That's why. So therefore, once you learn this performance management, that is why this is a very vital subject in human resource management as an integral part of this discipline. Why? Because then you will know how to create my behavior, because they will be looking in these aspects. අපි හැමෝම හැම වෙලාවෙම රඟපානවා වගේ, this also we have to act out. I am me as the best performer, right? Then only I will be able to get rewards. Then I will be able to get promotions, right? Then I will be attracted for the customers. Then the customers will give me positive comments for the company. So all these things are really important for an employee, whether you are the evaluator or evaluatee, right? Right. Now, what is the meaning of performance? Performance management is, of course, about performance. That's what I told you from that video. But what is meant by that word? It is important to clarify what it means, because if performance cannot be defined, it can't be measured or managed. That's the thing. What is that? If I say, how much you love me, can you say how much you love me? You can't say. Of course, you will say, no, I don't love you at all. But just ask from your partner. If your partner asks how much you love me, can you say, can you measure it? No, you can't measure it. Once it comes to performance also, you could see the song that the boys sang, right? How they measure this one. Now, listening to someone's song and giving marks is the way that how you measure the performance, right? Otherwise, it is also cannot be measured. How can I say how much beautiful that song is, right? It is totally depend on the measurements. So therefore, in performance appraisal, what we do, as I told you, I'll show you a video for performance appraisal also, right? And I will be using this video time to time to show you. Very carefully watch, right? Very carefully watch, because we will be discussing a lot of things from these videos. Because the same video I will be taking and I will be referring to that video, this video. So only sometimes only I will be recalling you that video again. I mean replaying. Otherwise I will not. So then you should know which video she is talking about, right? So as I told you, now normally I am being into this teaching for more than 10 years in the university. So I know how the students' behaviors, right? So the thing is, as I told you, in most of the time, as this is the very first day, you may be logging in, but after that, probably you will be breakups, right? Time to time. But for this subject, I'm very humbly asking, if you go with breakups, login in, it would be very difficult for you to understand what we have done in the previous session. So why you waste another time? At the very first day, think that, why should I waste another time? So normally, all the students, when I'm teaching, what they say is, you are a kind of a teacher that we do not want to study again, because I'm reminding you again and again, right? So today's session, I will remind and I will start with the next one. But I'm not doing it again. So therefore, if you have not participated for the previous session, so there will be nothing to remind, right? So that's what I told you. I will not give you loads of notes. So because for 3 hours, I can do even 60 slides quickly running through it. But for your level, I'm not going to test my knowledge. I want to give you a knowledge to your level. So with the notional hours, so I have a plan which how much of a note that you for your level you should be given, right? So it is a kind of a measurement in my mind. Very similarly, that we are talking about performance also, right? We give marks, right? Okay, I will see how you perform with teamwork. Okay, let's assume you are one of my employees, right? I see you are very good with customers, but you are not good with your colleagues. So what should I do? I will give 5. Rating 5. Let's say 1 to 5 ratings are given. Normally 1 to 5 ratings are given for performance evaluations. So I'll give 4 or 5 for customer relationships. But for the interpersonal relationship with the colleagues, I will give you 3. I will give you 2, right? So likewise, I will be measuring you, right? That is why it says performance cannot be defined. It can't be measured or managed, right? So therefore, performance is a thing that we can measure and we can manage, right? So Halton have pointed out that performance is a multidimensional construct, the measurement of which varies depending on a variety of factors. So it says, it is not only about how you come and work by sitting, think about, you are a clerk, right? So what you have to do? You have to type, you have to do all the documentations in the organization, what they have given for you. So it's not only about that. It is a multi-dimensional construct. It will be looking at what is the interpersonal relationship that you are keeping with the customers. Have you helped to have you helped your customers? How you help your team, right? How you behave in the organization, whether you have a positive attitude. So likewise, you will be learning once you learn. So as I told you, this is not a fancy subject, right? Like marketing management. Marketing management also I'm teaching normally, but I'm not with this that one. So normally it is a very interesting subject. A lot of advertisements will bring. So always students have that enthusiasm to learn. But the thing is, whether the subject is an enthusiastic one or not, you'll have to go in that way, right? So as much as possible, I am trying to make you the subject as an enthusiastic subject because the subject is very important for you. And once you learn, you will get to know this is not very difficult, right? That's why I'm asking to log in every day. So then you will find the same thing that I'm repeating sometimes. So it will be deposited in your mind. So you will not be wanting to study again. So that is an advantage, right? So log in every day. So it will be easy for you. All right. So it says, as it says, it is a multidimensional construct. So the development of individuals, the performance management is the development of individuals with competence and commitment, working towards the achievement of shared meaningful objectives within an organization which supports and encourage their achievement. As the Lockett mentions, what he says. Now look into every word, right? He says the development of individual with competence and commitment. I told you, we are doing a performance evaluation. I will show you a performance evaluation video. Okay, let me show you that video first. Then it will be clear for you. I'm going to show you a performance evaluation video, right? So you can check how a normal performance evaluation is done, right? Performance appraisal, we call it as performance management, we say, because after a performance management only, after a performance evaluation only, we will be doing a performance management. As I told you, now in that video also what they did, they evaluate the boy, how he sings, right? Then they take decisions. Then they take whether he needs to go to the next level, what are the things he needs to improve, and giving comments, whether you are good, whether you are bad. So what we call as feedback, right? Everything is decided after looking at the performance and evaluating it. So very similarly, in an organization also, you will be looking at the employees' performance, how they perform with teamwork, with the teaching, with customer service, and then you decide what you have to do. That part that we call as performance management. The video that I'm going to show you is about a teacher and a principal evaluation, right? So watch very carefully. It is also about a private campus. Watch very carefully how they evaluate, what they focus, right? I will show you this one again. Sometimes I will be showing you, giving you this video again time to time. So then you will understand to bring you few concepts. Let me show you. Watch very carefully this performance evaluation video.
This is Karen. Okay, send her in. Thanks. Hi, Brittany.
Hi, Karen.
How are you?
I'm
Thanks
good.
for
How are
taking
you?
time to come in
Thank you.
and go over your performance appraisal.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks so much for completing the self-evaluation form and sending it in on time. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
And I have to tell you, in looking at your ratings, I think we're right on target with each other. So
Good.
that was very good. As you know, the performance appraisal process is a very important process here at Keystone College because it provides us with an opportunity to talk about what's going on in your work, gives you a chance to tell me if you have any concerns or issues, and it also provides me with an opportunity to share with you how you are supporting the whole strategic planning process, the strategic goals of our department and of the college, and to show you that you really do play an integral part in the success of the department and the college. So with that, let's look at first your goals from last year. You did an excellent job on the department report.
Thanks. I worked really hard on that.
I could tell. I
Yeah.
could tell. The column headings clearly describe the material, and the calculations in the report were all correct and in an easy-to-read format. Excellent job. And you submitted it early, so that was a
tried.
bonus too. So that was awesome. As you know, this particular goal supports the strategic plan in regard to monitoring retention, which is critical to the success of Keystone, right? We have to keep the students that come here, so you know how important that is. So, moving on, let's look at the different categories here that you also rated in your self-evaluation form as well. For customer service here, I rated you as meets expectations. I have noticed that sometimes when you come to the window, when you're greeting students, that you seem rushed.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't even realize that was happening. You know, the problem that the student has, I want to figure out what it is, get it solved, and move forward. I didn't even realize I was rushing them.
Okay. Well, and when we greet students, if we're not smiling and have a happy tone in our voice, sometimes they could perceive that as that they're not important.
That makes sense.
Yes. And
Now pay your concentration. Now the manager is starting saying, we'll see whether how much you have achieved this strategic goals of the organization, right? Now, this one is a teacher. Now she is talking about what? How she has reacted for the students, right? So one by one, now she's looking into, look at the criteria that she's talking about. It's about customer relationship, and see the way how she talks, the way how she appreciates the person, right? And encourage, look into, right?
as you know, they are the most important thing here at the college. You know, without them, we wouldn't have our jobs. And I know sometimes we get so wrapped up in a report or our own work, and the phone rings or someone comes in. Sometimes we can view that as a distraction. But we have to remember that, you know, our job, a big part of our job is customer service, and that we always want our customer, whether it be somebody else on the campus, inside, outside, we're a student, to really feel valued here. So good. So I'm so glad that you'll work on that.
Absolutely.
In regard to teamwork, I have that you have done an above average job because you have worked with let me take some of this from your evaluation that you wrote. You had worked on a project where you filled in as the team leader. you took the team leader role, and you actually had the department work on this major transaction goal, and you accomplished that. And it took leadership skills and communication skills for you to get everybody else to cooperate and work with you and accomplish that, and you did an excellent job with that.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Let's see. For the accountability and responsibility, I have that you did meets expectations for those. And for attendance and punctuality, I have that you missed one day this past year, and that you're on time every day, and you're back from lunch every day on time, so thank you for doing that. And then when we come to initiative, I have that you exceeds expectations, because when Julie was out on her leave, when she had her appendix removed, you worked through some lunches. I know you skipped breaks and so on just to help get her work done.
Make sure everything's done, yep.
Yeah, so really, really appreciate that. Very, very good. Do you have any concerns in the department? Anything that you see is that we need to talk about? I know we talk all the time, but this provides a really formal opportunity for us to talk.
Not that I can think of offhand, I appreciate you asking though, but if I think of something, I'll let you know.
Okay, okay. Then the last piece of this is for us to talk about goals for next year.
Okay.
So I noticed here that you had in your self-evaluation talked about the desire to create a brochure for students explaining to them how to apply for loans and grants and so on. And I think that's a wonderful idea. That way you can give them something. We can also post it out on the website where they can download it.
Yep.
And I want you to know, in looking at the strategic plan, I went back and looked, and that fulfills Goal 3, Objective 2. It's because it deals with retention of students. So that's how you will be supporting the college's goals. So excellent. Now, one goal, as we were talking, that came to mind is the goal of greeting students with a friendly tone and smile. Would you be willing to consider that as a goal for this year?
That definitely makes a lot of sense, yeah. I will work on that.
Now look at, now she's giving marks. Now she is giving marks for each goal that she has been achieved.
Okay, and again, that would fall under Goal 3, and I'll write that in Goal 3, Objective 2, because again, it deals with retention, and that is so important. Okay, very good. All right, so with that, I calculated the average for Section 1 as 3.75, adding these up and dividing and getting an average for Section 2 is 3.38. And then your overall rating is 3.57. Now on our rating scale here, you can see we have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and there's an explanation of each one. 3, now remember you're a 3-5. 3 is performance meets expectations in most areas of responsibility. And you are doing more.
Okay, I will stop by there, but it will be important again in a day. I will be showing you that again. This is just to give you an idea about what is performance evaluation, right? Because without knowing and understanding about what is performance evaluation, you would not be able to go for the next layer. That is what we call as performance management, right? That's what I told you earlier also. You should have money in your hand, then only you would be able to manage the money. So very similar here also. Now you have seen a performance evaluation. What is happening there? The evaluator is evaluating the employee, or maybe here you will be learning different types of evaluations later on. So here she will be bringing up several aspects, right? She will be as per the video, she has brought up customer relationship, teamwork, documentation, and so on. She has been categorized it, and now she's evaluating. I told you normally the ratings are going from 0 to 5. right? Now she's evaluating. 3 is the average level. So by looking at these, the organizations recognize what is lacking behind. What is she's really good at? So as per the video, what she's really good at? What she's really good at? Teamwork. So she said, you have done a very great job there, right? By giving a very good leadership in this project. So likewise, once we look into, so you could see every time the evaluator is focusing about the goals and the objectives. Goals and the objectives of what? Goals and the objectives of the company. So therefore, we are setting goals and objectives of performance management as well. Normally, HRM department, they set goals. Why we need a performance management? Now we will be discussing it later on. So that is really, really important for your exams also, because every time you will have to focus on whether the performance management objectives have been achieved. So here, the definition explains a little bit of that. One, we look into the individual's development with competence and commitment. Whether, now you could see that evaluation video I wanted to show you to emphasize all these factors, right? Here you could see they recognize the competences of these employees and the commitment, how much you are committed for these things. That's why he says, okay, she says, okay, you have done a very great job there, because the commitment is higher. But she's recognizing when it comes to the students' affiliation, her commitment is not very much satisfactory. Students ලත් එක ඉක්මනට රෂ් එකේ කතා කරනවා වගේ මට පෙන්නලා තියෙනවා කියලා කියනවා. ඒතකොට මොකද දැනගන්නේ? ඇත්තද මට එහෙම තේරිලා නැහැ. because සමහරවල් students ලා ජනේල ගාවට ඇවිල්ලා කතා කරනවා. ඒතකොට මම ඒගොල්ලන්ට කියන එක යවල යවනවා. Then she says, no, but once we do not smile with them, once we do not respond very well, they are the customers. So then it's not very good. So likewise, right? So she's recognizing the competences and the commitment towards what? Towards the achievement of shared meaningful objectives within an organization. What do you mean by shared meaningful objectives within an organization? Organization is providing you objectives where everybody should be supportive for this objective. If only I work, it would not work well, right? Everybody should be supportive. Then only the organizational objectives can be achieved. So that's what it says. The shared meaningful objectives within an organization which supports and encourage their achievement. As in that song video. Could you see? Even in this video. It supports and encourages their achievement. Now in this performance evaluation also, the manager says, yes, you have done a very great job there, I could say. So you have done really good leadership there. So like once we hear such kind of appreciations, we get self-motivated to work. Look at in that song, the first video I showed you, that one also same. This supports, they encourage the achievement, right? So by overall, this is a very good definition which is given by the Lockett. He says, performance I would, don't worry, I would be telling you what are the most important aspects that you want to focus on when it comes to performance management. So normally this definition has covered almost all, almost all the objectives. Like, so simply, development of individual by recognizing the competence and achievement of the organizational goals and objectives, and in supporting and encouraging for them to achieve, right? And the Mohammedan simply says it's about the managing business, right? And the Walters, he says, directing and supporting employees to work as effectively and efficiently. So as you have already learned business management, I believe you know the meanings of efficiency and effectiveness. So what do you mean by efficiency? First of all, efficiently means what? Efficiency. Efficiency අපි සිංහලෙන් කියන කාර්යක්ෂමතාව. Efficiency means you try to give a minimal of input and try to get a huge output. It's like පොඩ්ඩක් ආදරේ දීලා ගොඩක් ආදරේ බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා වගේ. Right? It's like that. So it's like simply efficiency means actually with the input that we provide, we are not wasting these inputs, right? We are trying to get the maximum of output, so that will lead to the lesser wastages. Think about a well-practiced one is manufacturing cakes. Let's think about cake or cookies or whatever. If she's very experienced one, if she's very skillful, what about efficiency? Efficiency is high. Why? Wastages are less. If I am going to bake cake, if I am going to make the cake icing, the 4 or 5 cakes will have to be thrown up. Why? I will learn with trial and errors. That will lead to a lot of failures. So what we are supporting here for the employee to become an efficient employee, it means what? A skillful employee who can really support for the organization by with minimal of wastages, right? That is the meaning of efficient. Effectiveness means what? Effectiveness means we normally say doing the right thing, right? Efficiently we says doing things right. Efficiently we says doing things right. Doing things right. කරන දේ හරියට කරන්න. Doing things right. කරන දේ හරියට කරන්න. එතකොට හරියට කරනකොට wastages අඩුයි. වැරදියට කරනකොට wastages වැඩි වෙන්නේ. So when a practiced one is, when a skillful one is doing, the wastages are less. That's what it says. Effectiveness means what? Effectiveness means that the thing that you do the right thing. You do the right thing. Here what it says. At the very first time, do the right thing. If I ask you, are you happy with your partner? If you say yes, she's the best one that I ever can have in my life, you have taken an effective decision. It means what? At the very first time, you have taken the right decision. A very first time, you can take right decisions again when you are skillful. Again, when you are experienced, again, when you are knowledgeable. Otherwise, you will do trial and errors. The effective decisions will be lesser, right? So, what we do here in performance management? Directing and supporting employees, right? We give the direction. So, in all these videos, you could see they provide the direction. This is the thing that you have to do, right? And support the employee to work effectively and efficiently as possible in line with the needs of the organization, simply to meet the organizational goals and objectives. Okay, fine. If you are not fine with me, just put your, you can talk. I have not heard your voice. So you can talk, you can ask any questions, and or even you can send a message to the chat box, right? So that will tell me that you are listening and you are awake. Okay, fine. So normally you could see my pattern is I'm taking a lot of videos, I'm taking a lot of explanations, as I do not want to give loads of notes within these 3 hours, right? But the things that I'm explaining is really important time to time. Probably I will not be explaining the same thing in another time. So you should have the knowledge what I have told it here, right? So, okay. The definition of performance management, another way how it says, performance management is a shared understanding. As this is the introduction session, of course, I've taken more into explaining things, providing you the basis. Without knowing, you do, I can't ask you to write a word, right? So likewise, every session, I believe introduction session is the most important session because we learn one by one. We learn step by step. When I was learning performance management during my university period, I was just struggling to recognize what the subject is this, right? What is this? Because it's all like mixed up. So I learned how to do this one in a proper way, how to give it in a proper way for the student, not to make it more tangled with all the concepts, right? So that's why I'm asking you to listen very carefully. Then you will realize this is not a difficult subject. As long as you listen, as long as you will be involved with. So performance management is a shared understanding about how individuals contribute to an organizational goals. These are the different ways that the people are talking about when it comes to performance management, right? The way how I define love is not the same way how you define. Mama adre කියන විදිහට නෙමෙයි ආදරය කියන්නේ you are coming up with two different ways. So here also same thing, but they define in different ways. Simply it says here what? Shared understanding about how individuals contribute to an organizational goals. We could see by taking individuals one by one how she is performing. So likewise, you could see in this performance evaluations, her overall performance was like about 2.58. So likewise, I cannot remember. So I can compare you over the other one. Because why? The marks have been given. And it is discussed with the employee. I have not shown you at to the end of that video because it takes time. Anyway, I will be showing you the same video another day also. Because once you learn things, even I say, can you remember this one? You would not be able to remember because this is the very first day that you are focusing with that thing. So at the end, the manager is asking the employee to sign the document. Once she signs the document, it means she's accepting all the things that they have discussed in this performance evaluation, right? In this meeting. So even the manager says, I have given you 3.5, I have given you 4, I have given you 2. So like she says, right? Look at, if you talk about the government organizations, how is the performance management? අපි නිකන් විහිළුවට වගේ ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එකට ගිහලා බලමු. Government organizations, right? Look at, right? Government, let's say, office. Government office, we'll see. Okay. Can you see the pictures in the government offices? How you could see? Are they very effective? How you could see? All are loaded with customers, talking here and there, and lethargically sitting somewhere, and lots of papers. Sorry. Messed up with everything. Why? Why that happened to government organizations? Why? I told you I had to use this sugar candy because I got cough today. නැත්තම් බලයි මොනවද මේ කන්නේ කියලා. Right? So you could see විහිළුවටවත් මේකේ පේනවද නිකන් ආසාවටවත් ලස්සනට වැඩ කරන government organization එකක්. You can't see it? Why? Look at, this is the internet. Even in the internet, we cannot find a very good picture, a positive picture towards the government organizations. මරා ගන්න ඒවයි ඔය කම්මැලි කමේ කම්පියුටර් එකක් ළඟ වාඩි වෙලා ඉන්න ඒවයි අරෙන්නේ. Why is that? Even in the whole internet, the images are these. This has happened to government organization because there is no proper performance evaluations in the government organization. Whatever your performance is, you will not be rewarded. Your promotions will not be coming as long as you get old. How much you perform, you will not be going to training and development. Even you work or not, you will be in the same place. Even you get older sometimes, still you will be in the same class. It is no performance evaluation is there. So that's the problem of this government organization. Therefore, they do not want to work. So they do not have any motivation to work. They do not have any urge to work. But you could see private organizations are not like that, right? Private organizations, they always focus on the performance. Especially if you are into IT, you know how much performance will be evaluated. Now, almost you cannot expect government jobs, you know that, right? In future, you will have to definitely move up with private organizations if you are going to stay in Sri Lanka or whatever the country. Other than in Sri Lanka, abroad performance evaluation is a mandatory requirement for you to get promoted, for you to go up the career ladder. As long as you do not perform, you will not be able to stay in the organizations also. Normally, you know, in foreign countries, they do not hire you as a permanent employee. Normally, that is not the way. That is the way normally when it comes to Sri Lanka. That's why most of the Indian people, most of the people, they come and trying to get fixed in this IT industry in Sri Lanka also, because we take as permanent employees, the job security is there. But when it comes to abroad, foreign countries, they take you as a contract basis employee. So once you do not perform, you are gone. That is the problem, right? So now currently, the organizations in Sri Lanka are established, well reputed organizations. Almost all the private organizations highly based on the performance management, your performance evaluation. So therefore, it is mandatory for you to know how I will be evaluated. If you will be a manager one day, if you will be a director one day, you have to know how should I manage all these employees through performance evaluation, right? So therefore, another way, you see, performance management can also be defined as broad system that is linked with the processing of planning, implementing, reviewing, evaluating, augmenting growth and productivity at both the individual and organizational level. Do not worry about that definition. It is a little bit lengthy, but I will explain what that says simply. It simply say, when you hear the word management, whatever the subject is, whether it is marketing management, whether it is strategic management, performance management, human resource management, whatever the management, this tag will always explains about planning, organizing, leading, and controlling aspects. Now, I'm not going to teach you management. So, as you have already learned about management, you should know what are the functions of these things. In planning, what we normally do, we set organizational goals and objectives, and we develop strategies to achieve these goals and objectives. That's what we do. In performance also, we develop goals and objectives. Why we do this performance evaluation and how we are performance management and how we are going to get the real contribution from these employees. Strategies. If you want to say that you love you for a girl, what are the strategies that you can do? What is the goal? Goal is to convince the girl that you love her. What are the strategies that you can use? You can WhatsApp. You can directly ask. You can ask from parents. You can ask through a friend. There are a lot of strategies. Among all the strategies, you would be selecting the best strategy to achieve your goal. So very similarly, here also, if I say one of the objective of performance management is achieving the organizational goals. Other one, if I say another one, to satisfy the stakeholders of the company, right? So to achieve these things, what are the strategies that we have to adopt? So that is plan. And we implement and see. We implement. Okay, then our girl, I'm deciding I will send a letter through my friend. I implemented it. Right? Here also, we implement now. We implement a way, right? Probably giving coaching, mentoring, providing direction, right? We implement this one now. I will give feedback. Now, this is the way you have done. We'll do like this and this. So we'll see whether it will be working. So likewise, I'm giving coaching, advice. That is my implementing, right? The strategy to achieve the organizational goal. Then I review it. What's happening there? What's happening? Reviewing. And then evaluating. We'll see you evaluate it. Evaluate. Very similarly. Sorry. Very similarly here also, you review the implementation, whether this mentoring, coaching. For some employees, kochchara mentor karat, kochchara coach karat, that would not be working. Probably we'll have to give him his resignation. Probably we'll have to take disciplinary actions, right? Now, so likewise, we review it. We review and we sorry, then we evaluate it, right? And for augmenting growth means what? You growing the growth, you upwhelming the growth and productivity at both the individual and organizational level. You improve the individual, and by improving the individual, you can improve the team. Then you can improve the department. Then you can improve the organization. That's what it says, right? Performance management, we would be looking at how to plan. What are the goals and objectives and strategies that we can adopt? How we are going to implement? How we are going to review, evaluate, and augmenting growth and productivity at both individuals and organizational levels. So this is very important, right? But this definition, as this is a little bit complicated, you do not want to remember, I will be letting you know what is this definition is good. It's a good one. And we will be able to make our own definition for performance management also, right? So that one will be starting from here, but it's already 9:05 right now. So therefore, normally we have to give normally it is better to give 40 break within 45 minutes. Normally that's what we practice in schools as well as in universities as well. But now normally I'm giving break after 1 hour, like now it's almost 9:05. We'll take 10 minutes break, right? And we'll meet up again at 9:15, right? So 9:05 now, it's 9, we'll take a 10 minutes break. We'll meet up at 9:15, have a water, eat something and come back. Okay, then don't look out, stay in, right? After 10 minutes, I'm going to start again.
Okay, Miss.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna start again. Give me a second. All right. Now, as I told you, we are going to discuss the most important parts of performance management, that these elements you can take and you can make up your own performance management definition, right? So once you remember these elements, it would be easier for you to relate for your subject anywhere, anyhow, for the answers anywhere, anyhow, okay? So now you look into performance management is a systematic process of improving organizational performance by developing the performance of individuals and teams. Now look into this aspect. It's talk about performance management is about improving individuals and teams. If you take a team, if all the employees are not experienced one, if they are not skillful one, can you be successful as an organization? Not. So first of all, you have to pay your attention for the individuals. Individuals, we have to improve them. Then they will be leading to a team. So we will be having a successful team that will be leading for the organizational level. It is a means of getting results from the organization, teams, and individuals by understanding and managing the performance within an agreed framework of planned goals, standards, and competence. So here what you want to know is, once we look into the results, it should be definitely focused on not only organization results, not only team results. Sometimes, you know, now like IT people, they always, they have projects. These projects, they run as teams. So if you look into the team success, probably there can be free riders. Probably there can be probably there may be people who have not come up to the standards as others. So still the team success can be there. So that's why we want to know about the teams and the individuals, what the results of each. And from that, we can manage the performance as per the agreed framework of plan, goals, standards, and competence. What do you mean plan, goals? You know already what are the goals. I will be explaining with a video as well when it comes to Disneyland goals. Standards means we do have standards. That's for an example. Think about, you are working for a garment manufacturing company. I say, I'm the manager. I say, every employee needs to sew 100 pieces per day. හැම employee දවසකට ඇඳුම් 100ක් මහන්න ඕනේ. මම manager විදිහට මම කියනවා I'm telling. That is so if you agree, that is the standard. That is the standard. So standard means what we agree for a particular thing, which is given by the organization. And we would be looking at the competence as well. How much competent you are in doing this thing. In order to set a standard, 100 pieces කියලා මට කියන්න පුළුවන් if you are skillful. If my employees are not skillful, I may reduce it up to 50. So likewise, I will be when I set my goals, when I set my standards, I'll have to focus my competence as well, right? So just remember, so therefore, it is important for us to look into individual, team, and organizational results. So performance management is strategic in the sense that is concerned with the broader issues facing a business if that business is to function effectively in its environment. What's that again? performance management is strategic. What do you mean by strategic in Sinhala? Upaya marga. We have to see this in a strategic way. In a strategic way. In the sense that it is concerned with the broader issues facing a business if that business is to function effectively in its environment. So normally, every business, it faces with lot of issues, lot of problems. Why? We are exposed to the environment. So if you could see in these days, what has happened to the country? We are in an economic slump. Slump, S-L-U-M-P. Slump. Economic slump and economic recession are two different words. Economic recession කියන්නේ ආර්ථික පරිහානිය. කාලයක් තිස්සේ සිදුවෙන පරිහානිය. It takes a long time, little by little price increments. It comes to the price instability and economic recession. Economic slump means a sudden collapse of the economy. Now we have to face for that. Within 1 to 3 days, it's like a dream. Everyone has come to the road. Everyone is doing this Aragala protest everywhere. The country is collapsed. It's suddenly, right? So now, can the organizations control this? Can the organizations control the political aspects? We normally say pested, political, legal, natural environment. If you take Corona, can the organizations control? No, it cannot. Every organization faces a lot of problems. And what would be happening? So if you want to function effectively in an environment, effectively means what? Doing the right things, and with the general direction in which the business intends to go to achieve its longer term goals. So we have to look into very strategically if we want to go for our goals. Now you could see most of the organizations, once the Corona period came, they couldn't shift to the online business. So most of the the organizations which were in the tourism industry, small shops and the handcraft shops, they all closed up, right? They couldn't swap. They couldn't bear the environmental change. So that is why if this does not happen, make it a strategy. එකන අපි කියන්නේ එක girlfriend කෙනෙක් දාලා ගියාම මූද ඉන්නේ එක මාළුවද? You just be strategic. Do not suicide yourself. Once someone, you may be in a huge pain if someone loses, ne? But be strategic always. Be strategic always. So, like that's what we see. If we are clinging into a one strategy, එකම විදිහ නම් අපේ business එකේ කරන්නේ, we cannot survive. Why? We cannot adjust for the environmental changes. So therefore, performance management also should look into how we can contribute to organizational success. Your assignment also, I will be discussing later on after 3-4 sessions, like after 4-5 sessions, I will discuss. In the assignment also, this is very important. What? How performance management can help to achieve organizational goals. Organizational goals is a broader version. Performance management is one part of this broader version. We want marketing management should contribute to organizational goals. Production management should contribute to. So under HRM, how the performance management can contribute to organization goals that we are going to discuss. So one way is integration, vertical integration, right? So here we normally say vertical integration means linking or aligning business, teams, and individual objectives with core competencies. It's like this, right? Now, do you want to make any organization a success unless you are not paid? ඔයාට ගෙවන්නේ නැත්තම් ඔයා කැමතිද කම්පැනි එකට ගිහලා නිකන් voluntarily වැඩ කරලා ඒ කම්පැනි එක සක්සස් කරලා දෙන්න? You don't want. Why you are going to a job? Because you want money. Why you want money? Because you have your own goals, own individual objectives. Individual goals. I want to buy a car. I want to have a house. So like us, individual objectives. What the organization is doing. Now the businesses and teams have goals. Businesses have goals. Organization has goals, right? Simply. organization has a goal. Let's say to maximize the profitability, that is the organizational goal. So you, as an organization, you have several businesses, maybe in the same business, same organization, several teams. You give goals for each business unit, each team, right? Okay, maximize the profitability from 1 lakh, maximize the profitability from 2 lakh. So likewise, you give goals for each businesses. What you have to do is you have to link with individual objectives. Think about you are working in marketing department, right? Now you are the marketing manager. Now the company owner says for the marketing director, marketing side, you want to improve your profitability from this month from 1 million, right? So what the marketing director say, he communicates this to marketing manager. Then the marketing manager has so many executives. He's dividing this objective, let's say 10 employees. So likewise, you say, okay, 1 lakh. 1 lakh, you have to maximize your profitability. For 10 employees, you divide this 10 lakhs. And you say, if for individuals, you say, if you can maximize your sales in this month from 1 lakh and even more than 1 lakh, you will be focused for the next promotion. You will be promoted as a senior executive, or you would be getting a salary increment, or you would be getting bonus for this. So likewise, so the people would be working for that individual objective. Think about your kid at your home. If you are married and if you have kids, right? You see the report card of the kid. You say 20 marks for the maths. What the hell now you have to do? 20 marks for maths. If you say you have to work hard next time, you cannot bring 20 marks. You have to bring at least 50 marks next month, next year. Will that kid understand and work? No. You would say you have to align your goal with the organizational goal, individual goal now. Then you will say, okay, what I'm going to do, if you get 50 marks, I will give you a bike, right? Simple as that. So the little kid will work for what? For the bike, but not for the marks actually. But ultimately, he will be getting the marks, right? So this is very, very important for you to understand. Organizations also should understand people will never work as long as you say you have to work, you have to work, you have to bring profits. They will never do that. You have to align this one with the individual objectives. That's what we call as a vertical integration. These goals from top to bottom, what you are doing? You are vertically integrating, right? Horizontal integration. What do you mean by horizontal integration? Linking different aspects of human resource management, especially now we are talking about performance management is one side of human resource management. There are a lot of sides of human resource management. Human resource development, human rewarding, hiring, recruiting, employee well-being, transportation, a lot of things, right? So, linking different aspects of human resource management, especially organizational development, human resource development. Now, we do have another tool to discuss with HRD also, how the HRD relates to this performance management and reward, so as to achieve a coherent approach. We develop employees. We look, okay, from performance evaluation, we recognize how the employees are working, right? We see their performance. Sorry. Then we develop them. We give training programs. We give, you can do anything and you can develop them, sorry. Especially we focus on developing individuals and teams through training and development programs, right? So that's what we call as under human resource development. And we give reward. Sometimes, mainly we are looking at two aspects when we do a performance evaluation. One side is giving training and development programs, so then they will improve. They can do more, right? Or the other way around, you give rewards. Once you see now she's really performing well, so what you would be doing, you reward, right? You reward them. You give what do you call bonuses. You give merit pay. Merit pay means for your performances, you will be paying more, right? And so likewise, maybe promotions or whatever. So as to achieve a coherent approach to the management and development of people. So you have to understand the difference between vertical integration and horizontal integration. In vertical integration, we align the objectives top to bottom. Horizontal integration means being in the HR field, we integrate all these things. We develop people, then we reward people. So likewise, right? So that's what is. Simply, you do not want to buy hard this one, right? මේක නිකන් ඔයාලගේ දැනගැනීම පිණිස විතරයි දැම්මේ, no nothing to study, right? I just wanted to show you how everything is connected. When everything is connected, it leads to synergy. Synergy කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? What do you mean by synergy? Synergy means you are more skillful and more energetic to work, right? And so actually, this is just to show you, right, how everything is connected. Don't worry about that slice. Now, let me show you a video, right? That's about how now let me bring. Okay. I know, I will show you. Okay. Now think about organizational goals, right? One thing is, if you do not communicate to your employees what the organization is going to achieve, they will never ever support, right? How do they know what to do if they don't know? If you are working in an organization, if I ask you, do you know the organizational goals? Do you know the organizational vision and mission? If you say no, it means you do not know what you really have to do, right? If you take the Disneyland advertisement that I'm going to show you, Disneyland vision is simply to make people happy. You know Disneyland, right? Disneyland simple vision is to make people happy. If you talk about the mission, they say, we give you the most. Let me show you the mission of the Disneyland. Right? You can see. They say we entertain and we inform and inspire people around the globe through power of the unparalleled storytelling. You can see and reflecting the iconic brands. Minnie Mouse, Mickey Mouse, Cinderella, Rapunzel, everything has come from where? From Disneyland. So that's how they have been able to meet their mission. Unparalleled storytelling, iconic brands, creative minds and innovative technologies to being an entertainment company. So they have achieved their mission. How? Through by communicating the vision and mission of the Disneyland for the employees, right? I'll show you a video clip of the Disneyland. Look at how much employees are contributing to this vision and mission. Vision is what? To make people happy. To make people happy, how much of an effort that they are taking. Look at the employees' performance, right? Because this thing I'm going to relate it to the things that we will be learning. You can see by wearing all the day like trees, Minnie Mouse, Mickey Mouse, still they're really happy to take photographs with people. They smile, they laugh. They make people happy because they have been communicated. This is one of the main part in performance management that we will be discussing in future. What? Within after very few slides. What? It is most important that you want to focus on how much employee is communicated about the organizational vision and mission. Then only they know what to do. That's the main thing. Otherwise, people don't know what to do and how to do things. Let me just show you this Disneyland advertisement. Disneyland. Look at how much they are supportive for this one, right? I will bring this advertisement.
There's no better place for new adventures, for making new friends and memories you'll never forget, than right here at Disneyland Resort. And with so much to see and do, you'll find more ways and want more days to experience as much of the magic as you possibly can. So where's the best place to start? Disney California Adventure Park, of course. Here, you'll discover themed lands filled with dozens of favorite attractions, including exciting new additions like Guardians of the Galaxy, Mission Breakout. Plus, you'll be treated to some of the most spectacular, world-class entertainment you've ever seen, both day and night. When you're ready, more amazing lands are waiting to be explored in the one and only Disneyland Park. Feel the magic in the air as your imagination soars on adventures to other worlds. Bring storybook tales to life before your eyes and ignites your spirit of wonder with one unforgettable experience after another. But don't forget, there's even more fun just steps away in the high-energy downtown Disney district. Shop, dine, and be entertained, all in true Disney style, right here in the heart of the Disneyland Resort. And if you really want to make the most of your visit, stay in the middle of the magic at one of the uniquely themed Disneyland Resort hotels. Thanks to legendary Disney service and magical touches everywhere you go, you'll feel positively pixie dusted your entire stay. So now that you've gotten a taste of what's in store, get set for the vacation of a lifetime, one filled with day after day and night after night of pure Disney magic. No wonder there's no better place to be than at the happiest place on Earth.
Okay, so in that video, I believe that you could clearly see by wearing all these dresses and doing everything, how much they are committed to make employees happy. Sorry, the customers happy. Because the customer's happiness is the vision, right? So once the employee know what to achieve, it is very easy to process with the other things, right? So normally we say, okay, effective performance management involves everyone, not only one, but it's simply this picture shows everyone should be involved. So employee is the one who owns the process actually. He's the one who is doing this one. Think about a garment manufacturing company. He's the one who is operating the machines. He's the one who owns the process. And leader, right? Maybe the supervisor, and maybe the production manager, whoever the leader. He's the champion. He champion the process. Champion the process means what? He makes much more effort to do all these processes in a more successful way. කොහොමද මේක වැඩිපුරම success කරගන්නේ, right? And then human resources. I support the process. Human resources is always supporting the process. They come to you, they come into grievance handling, conflict handling, ඔයාලගේ ප්‍රශ්න කතා කරලා ඒ ටික අයින් කරලා, and they will discuss what do you want, how to, they focus on feedback, they focus on disciplinary matters, right? They support the process. And supervisor is a kind of a partner in the process. You know, supervisor is the immediate superior who is with the employee. He is also a partner of the process. If you have ever seen a garment manufacturing company, it's very easy to understand that one also, because supervisor and employee has no very big difference. Only one layer is higher than that, but he is also a part of that. Leader is the one who says, okay, this is the way you have to do, and you will be leading into these directions, career path, and looking. Guiding principles for effective performance management. So this is important. What are the guiding principles for effective performance management? First one. Now, effective performance management means what? We do the right thing at the first time. Effectiveness, right? First one should be an ongoing process of setting expectation, executing plans, and evaluating results. So I told you, whatever the thing that we start up with the word management tag, we start up with planning, right? In a plan, what we do simply, we set the expectation, right? We set the expectation. What is my expectation, right? That is the goal. And you execute the plan. You develop your strategies and you execute it. Execute your plan. Strategies da. බලනවා මේක හරියනවද කියලා. අර මම කලින් කිව්වේ girlfriend නම් ලියුමක් දෙනවා නම් කොහොමද කියලා. So likewise, you think how this would be working on, right? So you set expectations for the employees, okay, in order to maximize the profitability of the organization. This much of level you need to මෙච්චර මහන්න ඕන. Then you execute that plan and you evaluate the results, right? You evaluate the results, whether this is happening, whether this is not happening, what are the pitfalls, what are the loopholes, right? What are the prashna තියෙන්නේ කියන එක. Then the second phase, expectations should be explicit and mutually understood. Sorry. What do you mean by explicit? Explicit means you have to express it. That's what I showed you in this video. I wanted to show you this little, and you could see every employee knows that they want to support to make employee happy, right? So that is explicit. It is already conveyed to the employees. Express කරලා තියෙන්නේ. So then it should be mutually understood. What should I achieve? I should be mutually understood. If I do not agree with the management, it will be a problem, right? So mutually, it should be understood. What should I do? That's for an example. Think about the number of garments that you have to sew. සියක් මහන්න කියනවා කියන එක. So if you do not mutually agree with all these things, it will be a problem, right? The third one, engagement is increased when people are involved in planning the work. This is a very important thing, what we call as participative management, right? I hope you have already got this tune, right? Thinking that thing I have started also. I checked with the campus also. It is already mentioned that you have got the tune. If you have not got the tune, please let me know, because during after the session, I will upload this one to the chat box. From the chat box, you can download, right? ඔයාලට හම්බ උනේ නැත්තම් මේ ටියුට් එක මට කියන්න. එතකොට I can make a upload කරන්න පුළුවන් chat box මෙතන chat එකට. ඒ chat එකකින් ඔයාලට download කරගන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Okay. හැබැයි මේකේ videos තියෙන හින්දා download වෙයිද දන්නේ. Okay, right. Anyway, I have the note also. So engagement is increased when people are involved in planning the work. That's what we give another word as participative management. It means what we do, okay, we take employees representatives also. We ask, I'm the management, I'm asking from the management, okay, can you give 100 pieces per day, right? So you give you let them to speak also. You let them to give their suggestions, their ideas, right? if once the employees agree for these things and when they involved in decision making, they also work. එයාලත් වැඩ කරනවා. හිතන්න ඔයාගේම අදහසක් ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා නම් you try to get the other support also, right? කාගේ හරි අදහසකට වැඩ කරනවට වඩා කාගේ හරි අදහසකට වැඩ කරනවට වඩා you focus on, okay, if it is my idea, I will take other supports also to work with this one, right? So that is why it says engagement is increased when people are involved in planning the work. When we are planning the work, we get the engagement. How work gets accomplished, fourth one. How work gets accomplished is as important as what gets accomplished. It means what? How work gets accomplished. කොහොමද ඒක accomplish කරගන්නේ? ඒ වගේම වැදගත් මොකක්ද අපි accomplish කරගන්න කියන එක. Right? Right? So if you want to propose a girl, how you are going to do that one is very important, as well as what you want to accomplish. Why you want this girl? What you want to accomplish? So it's like that. Right? Normally, in an organization, what is to be accomplished? The organizational goal. So the way how you do it is important. There you decide whether we are coaching, whether we are mentoring, or whether we giving training and development, whether we give rewards and promote them to work, or whether we need to go for disciplinary actions. So how work gets accomplished, right? The fifth one, it says regular, honest feedback increases understanding and positive performance. So it is very important. It is very important for your assignments also. We would be highlighting once we are discussing about the assignment. I'm not discussing about the assignment as long as you do not have a basic idea about what the subject is. Now I believe little by little you get to know what the subject is. So fifth one says what? Regular, honest feedback. I have to give honest feedback for my employees. Think about, I don't like my subordinate. I am the one who is going to evaluate now. If I say, Mama yaata personally කැමති නැති හින්දා, let's say he's very ugly, so I don't like him. As I don't like him personally, I give dishonest feedback. What I say, you are not working timely. The quality is poor. Others say that you do not contribute to their work also. Others say you are not supportive. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, sorry for the disturbance. With the cough, sometimes it gets a little bit difficult. That's what I told you. We started in a very bad day. Okay, all right. So you have to give honest feedbacks and regular basis. Time to time. Maybe weekly, maybe daily, maybe monthly. Once you give regular feedback only, people will work. Sorry. People will understand what they have to work. Right? Understanding and positive performance. Once you understand what is my level, I will be working very positively. So that is very important, right? So in most of the times, you see the government organizations, what they do, after a year, they do a performance evaluation. they get forms filled, they never know what's happening. The employee never know what is my level, what are my faults, what are my positive things. Sorry, we never know. So how can we work well? What are the things that we want to improve? We never know. So that is why it is important for you to get regular, honest feedback, right? That will improve the positive performance. So you could see the 5 layers, steps, right? You could see I do not want to overload with lot of notes for a day. For your level, it is unnecessary, right? But I'm giving all the basics for you. So then wherever you go, whatever you do in your organization, you will understand once we complete the module. So this is performance management. These are the things that we will be tested on and on. So the first one, what we call, you have to set plan. You have to have performance objectives and goals. Then you have to plan and you have to evaluate, execute, and you have to evaluate the result. Then the second one, what you would do, you have to communicate this. You have to communicate these goals and objectives for everyone. So then they will mutually understood what they need to be done. In order to make this plan, right, in order to understand mutually, what you would be doing, you take the all employee engagement also. So then they will work with. That's what we call how work gets accomplished. We decide now how we are going to get this work accomplished, right? And giving regular, honest feedback, we have to do lastly to get positive performance from the employees. So the purpose of the performance management. What is the purpose of the performance management? Performance management is a means of getting better results from a whole organization or teams and individuals within it. That's what I told you. What the performance management is focused on, we look into individuals' performance. Through that, we want to improve teams and lead organizations. By understanding the managing performance within an agreed framework of plan, goal standards, and competence requirements. We will look into employee competence and we set our standards and goals, and we would be doing a proper performance management to upgrade the individuals, teams, and organizations. Simply that is. We have an organizational goals and objectives. We would be looking at employees' competence and we set the standards accordingly to upgrade the individual, teams, and organizational performance. That's the purpose of performance management. Then, principles of performance management. Okay. Before this, let me show you a video on. Now we have discussed up to some extent. I'll show you a recap of what we have learned, right? A recap of what we have learned. Performance management. What is performance management?
Performance management. Performance management is a continuous process. A good performance management system helps in improving the performance of the overall organization. It starts with a plan. In the planning processes, organizational objectives are assigned to the teams and further cascaded to individual employees in discussion with their respective managers. This provides complete alignment for every employee with the organizational goals. Employees face a lot of important tasks every day. It could be an urgent meeting, a customer escalation, analysis of historic data, and so on. These could be time-consuming and might distract the employees from their defined roles and responsibilities. Having the right objectives help the employees keep their focus, or at least bring them back on track. Develop. In this stage, the manager and the employee work together to address the hurdles in achieving the objectives they defined in the plan stage. This could be in the form of additional trainings or skill development, tools, new project assignments, clearing approvals, obtaining budgets, and so on. Perform. With the objectives defined and hurdles cleared, it is now for the employee to perform. Managers can work together by observing performance, providing feedback and coaching to keep them on track. Through this stage, there is regular and periodic interaction between the manager and the team member. In the assess stage, through the self-assessment, the employees assess their performance and list their achievements and opportunities that existed through the year. The manager lists the same from his perspective and assesses the employee's performance in the managerial assessment. In the review stage, the manager and the employee sit together and review the performance and share feedback. The review stage will also involve compensation or rewards if applicable. If the activities in the first 3 stages are performed correctly, and if the feedback is shared on a periodic basis, then there must be no surprises in the review stage.
Okay, right. So it is just a recap of what we have discussed up to now. And okay, we'll be back with principles of performance management. What are the principles of performance management? So you could see, when it comes to principles of performance, what do you mean principles of performance management? What we are looking at, right? How this has been made of. So it translates corporate goals into individual, team, department, and divisional goals. That's what I told you. What is the integration, if you could remember? Vertical integration. Through vertical integration, we translate the corporate goal into department, team, and individual goals down, right? And it helps to clarify corporate goals. So ultimately, it helps to clarify the corporate goal once you achieve. As I told you, once that employee could achieve 1 lakh profitability more, everyone will be now increasing 1 lakh from 1 lakh profitability more. It means 1 million has already come. So ultimately, the corporate goal is achieving, right? It is a continuous and evolutionary process in which performance improves over time. This is not a one-shot program that we are talking about. It should evolve. It should continuously, it should be there. So normally, you know, when people get married, they do not think about their figure after that. Ladies especially, they do not now, once they come into their marriage, they think about the body shape, they think about the face, color, everything. Immediately after marriage, after having kids and all, you totally forget what have you been, right? So then what will happen? The interest for each other will reduce. That normally happens. So very similarly here also, if you do this as a one-shot project, it would not be working for achievement of organizational goals. So as what you have to be done, as long as the way how you are maintaining your family life, you go out, you have fun, you go for movies, you go there, here and there. So likewise, it is a continuous and evolutionary process. Little by little, it should grow, right? Little by little, it should grow, it should evolve in the sorry, over time, it should improve. Now think about, you are doing a performance evaluation today. Next year also same performance from the same employee. The after 2 years also same performance from the same employee. What is the point? So that is why we are focusing giving regular feedback, right? We are giving regular honest feedback. Then we do not want to wait 1 year to see his performance. We can have an understanding how the person is performing after that, right? Because We are giving feedback. We see whether he is working or not. It relies on consensus and cooperation rather than control or coercion. This is very important. What it says? Sorry. It relies on consensus and cooperation. Very corporately, cordially, dearly we say for our employees, right? We get their involvement, we get their suggestions, ideas. We work together. Management and the employees are work together. We are not going to coerce or control. As I told you, when your kid gets 20 marks for the maths, if you coerce කියන මොකද්ද? තර්ජනය කරනවා නම්. Okay. ඊගාපට ලකුණු 50න් ගත්ත නැත්නම් මම ගෙයින් එළියට දානවා කියලා කිව්වොත්, so that coercion will be a punishment for the mentality. Once mentality is not clear, the employees cannot work clearly with a clear mind. They always work with afraid and it's like the people do not satisfy with the work while they work, right? So we never going to control or coerce. But that is why we want to match the individual goals with the organizational goals. We very dearly, if you could see that in that video also, she appreciates the employee. Yes, you have done a very good job. And she could see that the teacher was not very good with the students, right? That's why she said sometimes you may have forgotten to smile with them, then they will feel that they are not valued. අපි ළමයි හොඳට කතා කරලා hina වෙලා හිතේ නැත්නම් ඒගොල්ලෝ හිතයි අපි ඒගොල්ලන්ව වැඩක් නැහැ කියලා. එහෙම වුණොත් they will be dissatisfied, right? So that was a mistake that she has done, but still they were discussing with a very cooperative manner. No control, no coercion. එහෙම කරලා අද අපේ ලංකාවේ එහෙම නම් කොහොමද? එහෙම කරලා හරියනවද කස්ටමර්ස්ලට hina වෙන්න දන්නේ නැද්ද ඔයා කියලා? That's the way how customers ඉස්සරහම බයිනවා. So that type of culture we have. So normally private organization, now they are not into this culture. They are very concerned about their employees. And it creates a shared understanding of what is required to improve performance and how this will be achieved. It creates an understanding how to improve the performance and how this will be achieved. Okay, I will show you another video on coaching, right? How to do a correct coaching. I told you, we have to understand what are the ways that we are going to achieve this performance management, right? So coaching is one of the ways. I will show you after this one. So simply it says what? It will understand. It will understand how should I work? How should I improve my performance? Let me show you right now. Then it would be important here. It is about coaching, right? I'm showing you a coaching this video. Initially, it shows a wrong way of coaching. කතා කරන එක. It is wrong. And she understands it's not the way. ඊට පස්සේ ආපහු පෙන්නනවා how to coach correctly, right? Then this one, she's the employee. She understands how should I improve myself. So the coach also, again the supervisor, superior, also the management should support the employee to understand how they should be improved. Look at here. Initially they show it is the wrong way.
Unfortunately, good performance doesn't last forever. Everyone has downs as well as ups. And when you're a coach, it's just as important that you never let poor work go unnoticed.
Yes, but unless I have a specific date or billing number, I can't... Ma'am, what I'm trying to tell you, if you listen for just a second, is I have no way of helping you unless I can... Hello? Goodbye.
Robin, please tell me you don't talk to all of our customers that way.
What? No.
Well, the conversation I just heard is completely unacceptable.
But she... You didn't hear her language. She was screaming at me.
I can't do anything about her attitude. What I'm concerned with is yours.
Would you want to be corrected in front of your friends? Not likely. So don't do it to the people you coach. The idea of when you see it, say it, only works when you're coaching good work. When you're coaching poor work, the trick is to make it private and make it positive. First thing, get them alone, or at least away. The sooner the better, but make sure it's private. Now, the hard part, making it positive. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, are you correcting things for their success or yours? Are they doing it wrong or just differently than you would? Are you angry or irritated? If you're not in a completely positive frame of mind, stop and wait until you can be. Then proceed with caring.
Ma'am? Hello? Goodbye.
That call sounded like a rough one. Are you doing okay?
Yeah, I guess.
Remember, a good coach is willing to let the learner choose their own path. So be careful not to jump in with all the answers. Just jump in with a few questions.
So, how do you think it could have gone better?
I'm not sure.
When you feel like saying, here's what I think, stop, take a breath, and ask them, what do you think?
Well, she's bound to call back. What are you going to say?
I don't know. Seems like there's not much you can say.
It's amazing what you'll hear if they think you're really listening. And of course, what do you do when you hear them come up with a great solution? Never let good work go unnoticed. When you see it, say it.
Robin, I think that's exactly right. Just let her vent for a while until she's ready to listen.
But what if they don't have the answers? At that point, a tip or a shortcut or some practical advice from you can do wonders.
Sometimes I'll say something like, let me know how I can make it right for you.
Whatever you offer, make it simple, positive, and totally practical. At times you'll find that they might need a little more training, or maybe they never knew what was expected in the first place.
Actually, why don't we practice a call right now, okay?
Right now? All right. Hello, this is Robin in accounts.
And be patient if it takes them a couple of tries to get things right. They'll learn more from a few of their own mistakes than 100 of your words. Like they say, the only true failure is the failure to try. If they're making mistakes, it means they're trying. And trying hard is exactly the kind of good work that you should never let go unnoticed. Don't be surprised how often your team members can work out their own problems if you just ask the right questions.
Okay. So you could see from that video exactly what we are discussing here. Which principle? This one. It creates, where is it? Okay. It creates shared understanding of what is required to improve performance and how this will be achieved. So you could see in that video. Now, at the very first time, she was shouting. So it says, we should not do that. No one would like to get corrected in front of others. So if she's doing a bad thing, make it private and say that is the way how they improve it. That is the way how they create shared understanding. You could see in that video ultimately how they came into shared understanding and improve the performance. That is the way how they achieve the organizational goals ultimately. So that was an example for coaching. Coaching is always showing you direction in a very positive way. It is a one way that we were discussing here. The ways how work gets accomplished. So it can, I told you, it can be through coaching, it can be through direction, it can be through rewarding or disciplinary procedure or training and development. So that example is to show you this one. It creates the shared understanding of what is required to improve performance. And it encourages self-management of individual performance. After this one, I will give you a break. Okay, hang on. After the principles, I will give you a break. It encourages self-management of individual performance. So you could see how that coaching encouraged her to self-manage herself and improve the individual performance. And it requires a management style that is open and honest and encourage two-way communication between superiors and subordinates. You could see in that coaching also what happens. It encourages two-way communication. If that one quickly comes and ඔක අපේ ලංකාවේ වුණා නම් කොහමද බැනගෙන යනවා එහෙමද කස්ටමර්ස් වලට කතා කරන්න කියලා අර හැමෝම ඉස්සරහ මුළු ඔෆිස් එක ඇත් නැගිටලා ඇවිල්ලා වට වෙලා බලනවා මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා. Everyone would be coming and surrounded the whole office and see what is happening, what the fight is. So normally it says that is not the way. So then there will not be happening a two-way communication, only one way. And that would be very coercive, very threatening and very uncomfortable for the employee. So the performance management is always looking at how to create a very good communication between the superior and the subordinate. Superior and the subordinate should discuss what are their problems, how they feel it, so everything. And it requires continuous feedback. So that's what I told you. This should not be a one-shot program for every year, but it's continuously you should be getting feedback. Now you are doing well. Again in next week, that all the things what you have gone wrong in last week, now you have corrected it. You have done a great job. So likewise, requires continuous feedback. Then only people will be self-motivated and self-managed to be more improved. Feedback loops enable the experiences and knowledge gained on the job by individuals to modify corporate objectives. Once we get the feedback every time from our superiors, oh, this is the way you have to do, that is the way you have to be corrected and all, you get experience, you get knowledge. Look at in this coaching also. Sorry. The employee gets experience. She gets knowledge on how to deal with the customers in a more amicable way. Amicable can be friendly. Amicable can be friendly. More amicable way. And she is helping to the corporate objectives at last. It measures and assesses all performance against jointly agreed goals. It measures and assesses all performance against jointly agreed goals. So what that means? You can see once we evaluate our employees, we measure them. We evaluate them. Assess means that we evaluate their performance for what? For the ultimately agreed goal. Ultimate agreed goal is what? For the organizational goal, we assess and we measure the people. And it should apply to all staff. And it is not primarily concerned with linking performance to financial reward. What that means? It should apply to all staff, not only to one part. It should be applied to all staff. And it is not primarily concerned with linking performance to financial reward. It is the first primitive idea is not only linking the performance to financial reward. It is also the one part. Once we look in performance, financial reward bonus hari, maybe salary increments, maybe for bonuses, you can link it. It is another thing. But the primary focus is not that. Primary focus is that we have to recognize the employee's current performance level. And then we need to think about what we have to do. Because most of the time employees think once the performance evaluation done, okay, now our salary should be increased. The performance evaluation it is not the only reason that why the organizations are doing performance evaluations. So that should be known to every employee. So these are the principles of performance evaluation. Okay, before we move into the next slides, we'll have 10 minutes break. It's 10:15. We'll come at about 10:25. We'll have 10 minutes break and come back, refresh and come. 10 minutes break and come. Okay. Okay, we're gonna start again. Okay, now I'm going to start with the video. So because the next thing that we will be discussing will be related to that. So, okay, watch the video. Okay, right. Now, as I told you, you could see how a performance management is done. It would be recognizing the employees' weaknesses and skills and competencies, what they have to be increased. Then only the organization will be deciding whether to be rewarded, whether to be move up with training and development or something else. Now you could see I have highlighted some areas. These are the objectives of performance management, or simply what is focused on performance management. So definitely you have to remember these highlighted areas for your examinations also, right? Because it is really important. From this one, you can make your definition also, right? As your own definition. Even if I ask you what is performance management, right? You do not want to write the same wordings, but the highlighted words you have to bring, right? For your answers. You could see. Now, this is just like the base of performance management, simply the purpose of performance management, right? Through a performance evaluation, we recognize the employee skills, competence, and weaknesses. Then only we would be starting to move into performance management. As I told you, you should have money in order to manage. You should know how much money you have. Then only you can decide whether to invest, whether to eat and finish, or anything, right? So it's like that. So in performance evaluation, we will get to know in which level these employees are. Through that, we are coming to the management part. We plan how to improve all these individuals, right? Whether to train and development, whether to give rewards, whether to give disciplinary action, so likewise. So, performance management is primarily concerned with performance improvement in order to achieve organizational, team, and individual effectiveness. You can write it as efficiency and effectiveness also. What? The performance management is primarily focused on what? We need to have good employees who take decisions correctly, who take decisions wisely, who do not waste the resources. So, the main focus of performance management is to achieve organizational, team, and individual effectiveness, right? So simply effectiveness means what? The organizations, as stated by Lawson, have to get the right things done successfully. Effectiveness means what? Doing the right things. right? You need to do the right things. In order to do the right things, we need to have right people. So, therefore, how we can make them right? Through training and development, maybe disciplinary procedure, maybe through punishing. So it's up to you. It's up to the organization, right? So organizational team and individual effectiveness is the one main purpose of performance management. And if you miss this one, it is actually a huge loss, because you have to remember all these things. So my advice is, when you come, if you are logging into the lectures every day, you spend 3 hours here. So be mindful. When you are into these lectures, listen carefully. Then you will not be wanting to study again and again, right? Just a 1, 2, 3 reading would be sufficient for you to remember, because I normally recap, and you can see I normally take time to explain, because then there are students who are in different levels, different ages, different jobs, so different disciplines. So everybody needs to understand what I'm talking here. So therefore, that's why I would normally explain a lot. I take time and I use a lot of videos. Now, as this is the very first session, I have got few videos, but after that, I may not be able to get a lot of videos. But as per the requirement, I will be showing you up. So keep it in your mind, in which occasions we discussed all these things. Now, these highlighted areas are really, really important for your exams also. Because simply it says the purpose of performance management, or the objective of the performance management. Secondly, what? Performance management is concerned with employee development. We have to look into employee development. That's what, under the principles, you could say, here it says, it is not primarily concerned with linking performance to financial reward. It is a one purpose. It is a one thing. Once you look into the performance evaluation, you can link with the financial reward, but it is not the purpose. What is the purpose? Employee development. It is concerned with employee development. We will recognize in this this video I showed you, at the end it says they recognize the employee skills, weaknesses, then they take development actions, right? So performance improvement is not achievable unless there are effective processes of continuous development. That's what it is very much focused on, effectiveness, doing the right things. So once you are not in a position to do the processes correctly, you would not be able to get a continuous development. So if you do the right thing continuously only, you can see a continuous development. Think about your lives. If you are always taking right decisions, it will improve you. It will give you a continuous development. If you do a right thing today, tomorrow wrong thing, it's ups and downs. It is your going. The climbing up this ladder would be a little difficult, right? But if you always take the right decisions, it would quickly step you on, right? So very similarly in organizations, effective processes will give you a continuous development. This addresses the core capabilities of the organization. Now this word is very much important. This addresses the core capabilities of the organization and the specific capabilities of individuals and teams. What do you mean by core capability? Core capability means this capability should be able to give you a core competitive advantage. තරඟකාරී වාසියක් ලබලා දෙන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා. A competitive advantage. What is a core capability? Okay, I'm asking you, tell me your core capabilities. What do you have? Then you say, okay, I can dance well. So I ask, okay, can you dance other than everyone in the school? Yes, I can dance other than all the ones in the school. Okay, right. So Can you dance other than everyone in this district? No, I can't. So then it is not your core capability. If you are talking about a school dancing competition, you will have to end up with all island winning, right? That's same as what we call as competitive advantage. Among all over the rivals can call the competitors. මේ හැම competitorටම වඩා among all over the rivals, you should have a specific capability that will give you the competitive advantage. Think the analytical thinking. What is the, if you take Albert Einstein's, that analytical thinking made him gave him a competitive advantage. So likewise, everyone is having up this core capability. The only thing is, still you have not recognized what your core capability is. Once you recognize your core capability, that is the thing that you have to sharpen up and you have to go up career ladder. It can be anything. It can be anything in the core capability. Maybe having, some people are very good at creating very good relationship with people, very good interpersonal relationships. So they are very good at customer services. So likewise, once what we do in the performance management, we try to develop the employee. Which kind of employees? Who are having specific capabilities that they will become core capabilities for the organization, right? We need to create employees with specific capabilities. These individuals and teams, they can give you a competitive advantage. They are assets to the organization. May employees la watina wakkamak wena organization ekata. Why? Because of them, the organizations run. You know, some organizations, they pay millions for some employees. Because if that employee is losers for the company, you also will be gone forever. So knowing that some organizations, what they do, they give the shareholder part as well for some employees. Why? Because they know if they stay in this organization only, we will survive. If this employee feels to leave the organization and join with another organization, it will be a huge problem for the company. So therefore, that is why they are giving these shareholderships as well. So then they know he also becoming a part of the company owner. So he will work for that company, right? So likewise, we are developing employees who have specific capabilities that can bring a success for the organization. Performance management should really be called performance and development management. Therefore, we normally say, why? In performance management, that's what I told you. Performance management starts from what? We looking into, once we finish the performance evaluation interview, that kind of performance evaluation interview, then in Navatunata passe ithuru tika, it's about performance management. It's about development of the employee. What to do, how to do in developing these employees. So this is another one major purpose and objective of performance management, employee development, who can bring specific capabilities for the company. Thirdly, what is the third most important one? This cough does not make me to live peacefully. Actually, yes, very recently I got this one. So I was thinking whether I could do this, the first session well, but anyway, managed to do only little time we have. Okay. Thirdly, performance management is concerned with satisfying the needs and expectation of all of an organizational stakeholders, owners, management, employees, customers, suppliers, and the general public. Stakeholders, keep a full stop here, right? So once the performance management, it should always related with what? Satisfying the needs of organizational owners, stakeholders, right? All the stakeholders means what? Stakeholders means the people who have an interest on the organization. So everyone has an interest. Owner, management, employees, customers, suppliers, general public, right? If you are influencing for the general public, think about when the Munchie Maliban biscuits, when they increase their prices, whether the general public did not affected, they affected, right? So likewise, not only the customers. So likewise, whatever the business decision is, everyone is affected, right? So the performance management also should concern with how to satisfy the customers, how to satisfy the suppliers, owners, management. That is why I showed you that video on what? That performance evaluation teacher principle one. The principal says the customers are very important. And in coaching video also what? She is explaining how to deal with the customers. Because not only management, that's what I told you at the beginning also. Initially, probably you may be superb in working with internal employees. You are very good for all the internal employees, subordinates, superiors, colleagues. With everyone, you are very good. But when you're dealing with customers, it may be horrible. It cannot be. Probably you are very good in dealing with customers, but not with subordinates. Maybe only with superiors. It cannot happen. Everyone should be satisfied. So that is why we are giving a proper development program for them to improve, to understand what we are thriving. So another important purpose of performance management is what? Satisfying the needs and expectations of the stakeholders. Otherwise, no point. Ultimately organizational goal is to satisfy these stakeholders, owners, management, customers, employees. If you are not in a position to satisfy one of this party, you are in an utter loss. Think about, if you cannot satisfy the customers, what will happen? Customers will not return with you. There are so many other organizations, they will move for those organizations. And if you are not able to satisfy the company owners by giving more sales, more profitability, no point, right? So in particular, employees are treated as partners in the enterprise whose interests are respected, who have a voice on matters that concern them. So normally what it says, we concern employees as partners. Now normally when it comes to Sri Lanka, only we call sir, madam, boss and all. But when it comes to foreign countries, you can see we call them by name, right? Mr. Smith, Mrs. Matilda. So likewise, even for the company on, it's like that. What? Very rarely we hear like sir, boss, madam, likewise. Because then once we maintain that status, sir, boss, madam, in a company, they do not feel that they are like partners. But once they break this barrier, they feel that they are respected. The employees are respected and their interests are heard. So, and also they have a voice, not only from sir, madam and all I'm talking about. So employees should feel that they are respected, that I can make a voice in this company. මට වචනයක්වත් කතා කරන්න බැරි නම්, මගේ grievance එකක් කියන්න බැරි නම්, if I cannot talk any of my problems with the management is not supportive at all. So it would be a huge problem. And whose opinions are sought and listened to? Could you see in that coaching video? It always repetitively said, you have to listen to your employees. It means be happy that you are listening, right? Because then the employee feel that I am respected, my opinion is respected. සමහර organization වල කට අරින්න බෑ. ලංකාවේ නම් ගොඩක් වෙලාට එමය. එයා කියන එක තමයි right. The other parts they are not thinking about. So, but once the employees have the voice, once the employees can explain things, they are happy in the organization. So performance management should respect the needs of individuals and teams as well as those of the organizations. So we always should respect to listen to the teams, individuals, as well as all organizations, recognizing that they will not always be coincide. So it means we have to recognize. We have to recognize simply their value for the organization. We have to recognize the importance of employees for the organization. So therefore, not only employees we are talking about, we have to focus on all the stakeholders in a company, right? So then what finally, you can see 4 aspects I've been discussing with. You have to remember these 4 aspects. Otherwise, it will be difficult, right? You need to have. I am pretty sure once you listen very carefully and join regularly, you will not have many things to remember, because even I cough, I will try to remember and I will try to give you a more support, right? Rather than loading you with lots of notes and notes. I'm trying to explain more and give you and cover the whole syllabus also, don't worry. And I'll make it more, I'm trying to make it more easier for you, because I know most of you are working here, right? Working crowd is there. So therefore, I will be more supportive for that one also. So that is why I'm asking you to join regularly, then it is easier. I don't know about other subjects, what are the subjects that you have normally. But this performance management subject, I told you, a lot of things to study, right? So, but I have reduced as much as possible, but I'm telling you some specific things like these things, the basics of, you have to remember. So then only you would be able to match all the things properly, right? So finally, we discussed about what now? First thing is the purposes, objective, or maybe definition. You can take for anything, the things what we discussed. That's what I told you. You can make your own definition out of these also. I have given you several definitions. You use the definition I have told you at the very first time, right? This definition, where is it? This one. You have to either remember this one, or anyway you have to remember these 4 things, right? So that is the thing that you want to remember. You can make your own definition out of this one also, because you have to remember these 4 aspects for sure. First thing we discussed, organizational, team and individual effectiveness is focused from the performance management, and the employee development who has to create with employees with specific capabilities, who can give you core capability, and satisfying the needs and expectation of all stakeholders. And finally, communication and involvement. Now I showed you the vision and mission of the Disneyland and showed you the video also. The vision of the Disneyland is very clearly communicated for all employees in the company, and they always review it, how the employees are helping to satisfy the customers, right? Think about the leisure world in our country, or maybe another place, entertainment parks කියලා තියෙනවා, කල්පනා කරලා බලන්න. ගියාම private bus එකකට ගියා වගේ තමයි. අරහෙන් බහින්න මෙහෙන් නගින්න එහෙන් බහින්න මෙහෙන් නගින්න ඔතන බෑ මෙතන යන්න අතනට ගෙවන්න ටිකට් එක ගෙවලා එන්න මෙතන බෑ අතන බෑ ටිකට් නැතුව යන්න බෑ. So that's the way the people have once we go there, we are going to get a relaxation to get ourselves happy. අන්තිමේදී ඉතින් ඉන්න කාටද කනට ගහලා එන්න තරම් එතන වැඩ එතන සිද්ධ වෙලා ඉන්න වෙන්නේ. Why is that? They have not communicated what they have to do. They have to understand it is about the theme park. It is about making people happy. Once it is not communicated, and convinced these people, they never do that. Look at the vision, the video of the Disneyland. Probably you may have gone to Disneyland also. So you could see the difference, right? How much committed these employees to make the people happy, because they have a proper communication and involvement, right? Involvement means what? For the mission and vision, they fully committed, they involving with this one. That is important. Therefore, they could achieve the organizational vision. අපේ ලංකාවේ විෂන් නිකන් බලන්න ගිහිල්ලා තීම් පාක් වල විෂන් ගිහිල්ලා ඒව achieve වෙනවද නැත්නම් විෂන් කියන්නේ just wordings. At least they do not know. They just for the name they have vision and mission. As they also do not know what is vision and mission. So that is why I think it is not communicated for the employees, because the owners also doesn't know what is vision and mission. Then how they are going to communicate for the employees in order to get it achieved? So that may be another problem. So finally, performance management is concerned with communication and involvement, right? It creates a climate in which a continuing dialogue between managers and members of their teams takes place in order to define expectations and share information on the organization's mission, values, objectives, goals. Simply what it says from the organizational side, continuously they communicate what is the vision, mission, and value and the objectives. Meanwhile, the employees and the teams from the other side, they share the information about what are their expectations also. So they have a two-way communication. Both of them mutually understand what they need to achieve, right? From the organizational side, they understand we need to provide what they want. That's for an example. There was a problem for the Disneyland employees. They did not have proper places to live, right? They were in rent places. They could not pay the rentals and all. A lot of problems were there with the employees. There were huge issues with that. So the Disneyland nicely matched all these things by recognizing the employee needs. In one side, they could match that one. So in this side, employees also support for the organization. So that is why it said, this establishes a mutual understanding of what is to be achieved and a framework for managing and developing people to ensure that it will be achieved. Now the managers and the people, they get to know, okay, if we do this one for the organization, they will do this one, because they have a mutual understanding. අපි ලංකාවේ නම් ඒක employees ලා කිව්වම company එක බොරු කියන්න පුළුවන්. company එක බොරු කියලා employees ලා ඇත්ත කියලා employee බොරු කියන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද ඒ තරම් රටක් with Sri Lanka is such a country, right? But normally, now normally when it comes to these private organizations, now they are highly focused on this employee performance and to upgrade employees, because they have recognized employees are the most critical critical asset for the organization. They can create customers and they can break customers. If you behave bad, you can break the company. If you behave good, you can build the company. So therefore, the organizations are highly focused on employee performance and listening to the employees. Once you are not listening to the employees, you never can have a two-way communication. That is another problem, right? So therefore, performance management can contribute to the development of a high involvement organization by getting teams and individuals to participate in defining their objectives and the means to achieve them. What it says? So simply, the management and the employees, they highly involved with each other, right? Then they discuss what are the objectives of each of them. So both of them can achieve, right? So that is the thing what we were discussing through. Again, remember very carefully the 4 elements or the most important aspects of performance management. You can create the definition also out of this one. Simply you can say performance management is a process which focuses on organizational, team and individual effectiveness, to focus on employee development, which can bring specific capabilities where that lead to core capabilities of the organization, and through and satisfying the needs and expectation of the organizational stakeholders by a proper communication and employee involvement. So that is your own definition you can make. Because as I told you, you have to remember these 4 aspects, right? So those are the main things that we want to do. So you can see ethical consideration is a huge topic. Anyway, I could be able to do very timely. Normally, I am stopping by here because otherwise it will be overloaded for you for a day. Let me give you my telephone number. I would be much appreciated. I will put my telephone number to the chat box. If you can send me a WhatsApp on whether you understood the lesson. What do you think about the note 7848088383? Simply let me know whether you have learned this subject before, or whether you can understand this subject before, whether you can understand the subject or whether you have learned this subject before. So simply you can send me a WhatsApp message for this one. So that would be very nice of you. So then I will get to know how you would be involving in this one. The other thing, when you come in the next day for the session, anyway, I will be reminding you what we have been doing, right? These things will be important for your assignments also. The things what I have highlighted here, right? Because normally, most of the times, your assignment will be focused on what, how, and performance management will be focused on how performance management will be focused on organizational competitive advantage, right? So I will be normally giving you 2 questions, most probably for these assignments. So what you want to know is, you have to select an organization and do this thing, right? How a performance management will be leading to organizational competitive advantage. That question normally I'm giving, right? So you do not want to worry about that one. I just want to give you an understanding what is the scope of your assignment will be. Because when it comes to assignment, as I know, it is about 30 marks for the assignments or 40. I'm not particularly sure. I'm not really sure about. I think 40 marks for the assignment and 60 marks for the examination. If it is so, whatever. Anyway, the assignment marks are directly adds to the exam marks, right? But normally examination papers we set for 100 marks, then we convert it to 60 marks. But the assignment is directly 40 marks you can get. So you normally know to get a pass, I think you have to get 40 marks. But if you can write the assignment very well, you will have to get some amount of mark only from the papers. So I'm not particularly sure actually how much will be the assignment, how assignment marks and the paper mark, this categorization. So anyway, what you want to focus is, most probably it's as I could remember, 40 and 60. So focus on these areas. Anyway, I will be reminding you the things what we have discussed here. So you can see we have we have done a lot of content today. So I do not want to take much more time. So I appreciate again if you can send me a text or say to the WhatsApp saying whether you get the subject or not. So if you do you have any questions from today's session? Any doubtful places or anything? Okay. Don't know whether you are sleeping. So thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Give you valuable time to unconscious time also.
Thank you so much, Nafis. Great. Have a good night.
Good night, Miss. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good night.